Hi, my name is Thomas McConkie. I'm a meditation teacher, and I had a decades-long battle with my father. There's a poem from David Whyte called Start Close In, and the first stanza reads, "Start close in. Don't take the second step or the third. Start with the first thing close in, the step you don't want to take." There's a conflict that I've come to think about as the most defining conflict of my life. My parents have deep religious faith, and for whatever reason, I was the one kid in the batch of 7 kids who it just was not working for. So I decided from a really early age that I wanted to separate myself, distance myself from church, from the family culture, and it led to some really bitter years between me and my parents, and especially led to significant conflict between me and my father. And again, doing my very best to be honest here, I think I exiled myself. I kind of looked at the conflict as being located in my family. And so if I put a lot of distance between me and the conflict, then I felt better. And that was true for years. But after living abroad for over 10 years, it dawned on me that maybe I'm actually the location of this conflict and this disturbance. Maybe putting 3,000 miles between me and Dad isn't actually going to help me heal. Whereas I thought I had escaped from a conflict, I had actually unwittingly placed that very conflict at the center of my life. That conflict determined where I lived, where I could go, and who I could speak to. If I can't be at peace in myself everywhere, I can't be at peace in myself anywhere. Starting close in meant 20 years later, when I finally realized I had the capacity to just start close, start in my own body, start in the place that I would have done anything to avoid. That was actually when the conflict started to open up into deeper love and greater possibilities. There was a moment in my life where I had this just unmistakable prompting and intuition that I haven't really sat down and been at ease with my parents in 20 years. I'm gonna go eat Sunday dinner with them every Sunday forever. It was a profoundly disturbing experience. But committing to that uncomfortable experience in my body changed everything, because even as I was driving down the hill from my parents' house, meal after meal, we ate hundreds of meals together, I can't stress that enough, that I could feel it starting to break up. No longer was I investing energy in I wish they would just see it my way. I was actually much more dedicated to feeling their joy and their sorrow. So it raised the ceiling and it lowered the floor and it increased the space of our relationship together. It was the counter-instinctual move. The last thing I wanted to do was what I actually needed to do. And that changed everything. My belief is conflict is grace in disguise. And when we unmask it and realize what an opportunity it is to follow it into a new life, we give thanks that God has blessed us with this conflict. When I look around me and see all of the polarization in society at every level, it feels so familiar to me. And I feel my own tendency of wanting to push through a particular solution that I think will get us somewhere. But the more room I make for them, the more deeply I listen to these perspectives, the more I often discover that these people are taking a stand for something that is worthy of inclusion. I was so honored after my granddad passed and all the things in their estate got shuffled around. Somehow the Bible, the little pocket Bible that he traveled with when he was on assignment in Europe, ended up in my possession. And I heard through my grandfather's friends that his favorite passage was Micah 6:8 in the entire Old and New Testament. And so when I got this Bible many years ago, first thing I did was flip to Micah 6:8, and sure enough, in my grandfather's hand, he had this marked and starred. And what does the Lord require of us? But to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. So often in life, doing justice and loving mercy seem to be contradicting one another. But in the spirit of everything I've shared about conflict in my life and how it's made me a new person, I've learned that starting close in, starting with the pain in my own heart, and really having as much mercy as I know how to have towards myself, the moment I do that, I start to resonate with the pain in other people's heart. And it's not only something that can drive us apart, it's actually perhaps one of the divine tools we're given to learn to come together in love. And as we're really merciful with one another in our pain, somehow the right thing to do is revealed to us. And we find a new way forward that we couldn't have thought about in our mind, but it's revealed in our heart. And my grandparents lived that truth, and I'm reminded of that truth when I pick up this Bible.